Welcome back. We're going to start the last session of the conference with a presentation on one of those sectors which has been benefiting from the pandemic. You've heard about it all day. The logistics sector, which is sometimes referred to in the U.S. as the industrial sector. There's some confusion about what industrial means when you look at the Odyssey Index. Industrial does not mean manufacturing facilities. It's really the distribution warehouse kinds of facilities that are referred to as logistics, although logistics technically has a more narrow definition. Our speaker coming to us from Houston is Gray Bouchillon. I've already told Gray I'm going to mispronounce his name. He told me how to do it. I'm hoping I got it close. Nuveen manages over $15 billion US in assets in the logistics sector and has logistic assets in more than 30 markets in the United States. Gray couldn't be here with us today, but Sarah is here and Romina has been here. She's around someplace, I suspect. So if you want to talk about Nuveen and its logistics strategies, they'll be happy to talk with you. Right now, it's Gray. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Brad. Appreciate the introduction, and you nailed the last name, so nicely done. Unfortunately, I am a bit north of Houston in Dallas today. Quite a rivalry in the sports team arena there. So a hall pass for you on that one. Thanks again for allowing me to join the group here in Frankfurt. Delighted to be a part of the overall discussion. And as we dive into the logistics sector, I think Brad did a great job of handling the interpretation of logistics versus industrial. And because I'm not quite as articulate as Brad, I just use pictures to do the trick on the slide. And this is my way of level setting for the audience what we're talking about today when we make reference to the industrial and or logistics sectors in the U.S. We'll use that phrasing interchangeably, but if you're curious as to what I'm making reference to, I think the 6 photos here, all within Nuveen's existing portfolio, should give a good idea of what the light industrial and bulk logistics assets look like. As we move into the global picture, I want to set the stage a little bit. We're going to focus on the U.S. industrial sector, as Brad mentioned, but I also want to frame that within the global stage of logistics investment. These statistics here are drawn from Q4 2020 investment volumes. Okay, so just a quick snapshot. It's not the up and down, the plus minus variance over the prior year Q4 that's of consequence. I really want to frame up how much of overall global industrial investment sales volume is taking place within the U.S. Here, it's about 32 million out of 55 billion globally in Q4. Let's round that off and call it 60%. Now, that's one quarter snapshot. Of course, last year we were still in the throes of the pandemic in all corners of the globe. But if we go back to 2018 and we look at the calendar year, you still saw the U.S. making up in the high 50s, low 60% of overall global volume in the industrial sector. So it is the most liquid and the largest market. And it's one that Nuveen, as Brad mentioned, has a large presence in. We're in 30 markets. We have over 30 specialists focusing on the industrial sector. The map here shows both where our asset base and our talent base is located. Significant overlap, as you might expect, in Texas and California, where we own a significant amount of product. But as Brad mentioned, we are a big owner and operator, top 7. And these numbers are as of 12/31 today. Our AUM is approaching 95 million square feet, including what we have under construction. So what's the formula for U.S. industrial? Well, it's not going to surprise many folks, other than what we thought was intriguing about a year ago as we were starting to see how logistics was being impacted by the pandemic. It's now old news. Guess what? The pandemic accelerated e-commerce. You already heard that from Scott at Center Square earlier. I'm not going to diverge from that message as we go through the presentation here, but I will point out that the tailwinds that already existed with e-commerce are really now going to need to collide with a supply and demand equilibrium. And we're going to talk about some pockets of risk and opportunity on that supply and demand front as we get into the presentation today.